You know her, right? She's one of the most recognizable icons on the entire planet, a symbol of freedom standing tall in New York Harbor. But what if I told you that for over a year, the Statue of Liberty just sat there, packed away in 214 crates, a giant gift with absolutely nowhere to go? Her very existence wasn't saved by the wealthy or the powerful. No, it was saved by the pocket change of ordinary Americans.
So yeah, how did that happen? How did a gift from France become a monument literally built by the American people? Well, let's dive into it because the story of how Lady Liberty finally got her pedestal is this incredible lesson in people power. It's a story about a crisis, a media genius, and what has to be one of the world's first and most successful crowdfunding campaigns.
To really understand the problem, we have to rewind a little bit. See, the statue wasn't just some random present. It was this grand collaborative vision that came with a very specific deal. Okay, so the agreement was pretty simple. France would build the statue, and America would build the pedestal for it to stand on. And the French, they totally held up their end of the bargain. The sculptor Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi designed the amazing copper shell. And for the internal structure, he got a little help from a guy named Gustave Eiffel. And yes, that Eiffel. By 1884, she was completely finished, towering over the rooftops of Paris. So picture this. It's June 1885. The French frigate Isère sails right into New York Harbor, and it's carrying this incredibly precious cargo. This statue, taken apart into 350 pieces and packed into all these crates, was finally ready to be put together. New York went wild. There was fanfare, a naval parade, but there was one massive, massive problem. The American side of the deal had completely fallen apart. The committee in charge just couldn't raise the money. I mean, the rich were all focused on their own Gilded Age fortunes and weren't interested in paying. And a frugal Congress, they refused to foot the bill for what a lot of people just saw as some fancy foreign gift. So work on the pedestal on what was then Bedloe's Island had just stopped. Lady Liberty was basically homeless. And you had other cities like Boston and Philadelphia saying, hey, we'll pay for it as long as you move the statue here. Just when it seemed like New York was about to lose its greatest monument, an unlikely hero stepped in. Joseph Pulitzer, the publisher of the New York World newspaper. And he saw an opportunity not just to save the statue, but to give it a whole new meaning. And this is where Pulitzer's genius just shines. He used his newspaper to call out the wealthy for being so stingy. But more importantly, he used it to empower the working class. He basically argued, hey, this statue isn't for the elite. It's a gift to all Americans, and so all Americans should have the honor of building her home. And guess what? The people responded. It was this massive wave of civic pride. Over 120,000 people sent donations to the newspaper. In just 6 months, his campaign raised over $100,000. That was more than enough to finish the pedestal. It was an absolutely astonishing success. But here's the part that's truly remarkable, where that money came from. The vast majority of those 120,000 donations were for less than a single dollar. This wasn't the money of tycoons. This was the nickels and dimes of children, of immigrants, and of everyday working people. Pulitzer's real genius was in the mechanics of the campaign. He promised to print the name of every single person who donated, no matter how small the amount. Think about that. It gave people public recognition, a real sense of ownership. He even had rewards. A $1 donation got you a little replica statue. It was brilliant. This campaign didn't just build the pedestal. It transformed the statue into a monument that was truly funded by and for the people. So, with the pedestal funded and the statue finally standing tall, a whole new chapter in her story began. One of slow, constant change. Over the years, people started to notice her shiny copper skin giving way to that iconic green we see today. So why'd she change color? Well, the answer is all in a slow, protective chemical reaction. That green color is a coating called a patina. You can kind of think of it as the statue's own natural sunscreen. Over decades and decades, the copper skin reacted with the air and the water in New York's harbor, creating this thin layer of copper minerals. X-ray analysis of this patina tells a pretty fascinating story. It shows the coating is mostly a stable mineral called brochantite, which is great because it protects the thin copper skin underneath. And get this, that skin is only about the thickness of 2 pennies. But scientists have also found something called anthrite, which is a less stable compound, especially in areas hit by acid rain. It's a little reminder that the statue is in this constant living relationship with its environment. You know, just as her color has changed, so has her meaning. The Statue of Liberty has become this incredibly powerful, evolving symbol, and her significance has only gotten deeper over time.
Originally, her meaning was actually very specific. She was a gift celebrating the friendship between France and America and their shared democratic ideals. But crucially, she was also a monument to the end of slavery. The sculptor Bartholdi specifically placed a broken shackle and chain at her feet. It's this powerful symbol of emancipation that so many people don't even notice.
But the statue's most famous association, that actually came later. These iconic words were written by the poet Emma Lazarus for a fundraiser for the very pedestal we've been talking about. It wasn't until 1903 that the poem was actually inscribed on a plaque and placed inside, forever linking Lady Liberty with the millions of immigrants who would sail right past her on their way to Ellis Island.
And her meaning just keeps shifting with our history. After the September 11th attacks, Liberty Island was closed. When it finally reopened, the statue, which had once been a beacon for newcomers, took on this powerful new role as a symbol of American resilience, of strength and endurance in the face of tragedy.
Today, millions of people visit the statue that almost never got built. But to really experience it fully, to get all the way up to the crown, it takes a bit of an effort. It's a climb that really connects you, physically, to this amazing piece of history. Yeah, getting to the top is no small feat. The entire journey involves a total of 393 steps. Once you're inside the pedestal, that final climb to the crown is up a narrow, double helix staircase that has 162 steps. And yep, there's no elevator for that last part. To put that into perspective for you, it's pretty much like climbing a 27-story building. And since the statue isn't air-conditioned, the temperature inside can easily be 20 degrees hotter than it is outside. It's a tough climb for sure, but absolutely unforgettable. So, from a gift that arrived in pieces to a worldwide beacon of hope, the Statue of Liberty stands today all because over 100,000 ordinary people simply refused to let her fail. She was truly built by the people for the people. And that leaves us with a question. What does this symbol, born of international friendship and saved by pocket change, mean to you now?